This is a tutorial on Dermabond. Dermabond is, it used to be just found in doctor's offices, but now I heard you can get this online. So Dermabond is a sterile skin glue, and it can be used to close certain wounds. I was cutting something and accidentally cut my hand. So the most important thing with you would think that this is totally healed up, but because it's on the base of the thumb, it's my left hand, so I'm right hand dominant, it will probably stay that way. However, it can, because of the flap, especially right here, it can open up later on with tension and or movement. So what I wanted to do, while we're in the window of 6 hours, 6 hours seems to be the magic number where if you can close a wound before the 6 hour mark and it doesn't open again, then the likelihood of bacteria in there is low. Now, I only cut it with a very semi-clean knife, so it can't be sterile. It's not a sterile knife in the kitchen, but it was clean. What I'm going to do is, this is one of the vials of Dermabond. When you get this, you break the ampule inside, and you squeeze again so that the liquid gets to the tip. And again, this is clean, however, or it's closed and adhering because I have good clotting factors. But you want to apply it to both sides of the wound. The cool thing is that if anything, and if the wound is still open, the problem would be that the glue will take, that's first layer, I put it to both sides, and usually what you would do would be to squeeze the skin together. So you squeeze or approximate the skin together so that the flap edges would, with the adhesive, would stick to each other. One edge would stick to the other edge. And it doesn't have to be what I'm doing. See how I'm pressing, it's blanching, meaning that it's turning white because I'm pushing so hard. You don't really have to push that hard. Usually within 30 seconds, you can apply second layer. Now it's getting tacky already. So if you squeeze this thing too hard, you might get shards of that plastic or that glass from the ampule. So this is already tacky. Nothing's going to happen. In fact, well, I remember doing this a long time ago, and wound did stop bleeding, and this has to stop bleeding. If it's bleeding, the hydrostatic pressure of blood coming out will just leak through the wound. You won't be able to close it. So direct pressure, usually about 5 minutes, will stop bleeding. You just apply after it's stopped, hold the edges together. It might feel a little warm. That's just the action of the chemical, and should be good. The curing rate is pretty quick. So, I mean, if I push hard enough, I'm going to break apart the edges, but this will cover up so no further bacteria. I consider it a shell. No further bacteria will get in. Two, you'll have the edges pretty glued together so that the urge to bleed out will be lower, and it just compresses the time frame of healing. So hopefully you can get yourself some of this. Now, you can only apply it to certain areas. It works great on faces, especially kids, because they're so afraid of stitches. But if you had it across a joint, it wouldn't work because you keep on bending the joint, you'll just break it open. And also, if it's on areas that are dependently, let's say the drag will pull this down constantly, I can actually feel it coming apart. And that's probably just my pain threshold. It'll eventually work its way apart. So the edges have to be together during the initial curing, but after that, if you put a strong enough force, you'll break it. So hopefully this gives you a good idea about how to use Dermabond. You're not supposed to use, and obviously clean it out first, soap and water. You're not supposed to use the crazy glue over the counter because it's not sterile, and that gets hot. I can't feel anything, but technically I cut this about an hour ago and it stopped bleeding. So theoretically, I started my own clotting. I just wanted to make sure I put extra strength on it. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of assistance. Don't forget to subscribe to me and hit the notification button for other videos. Thanks.